Hello everybody, welcome to Coco's Crochet. I'm Litza and this is our podcast number 161. It's Thursday the 13th of November 2025 and here we gather once again for our little crochet club, a small gathering of friends, yarny friends that talk about yarn, crochet and a few other things along the way. Now today I'll be showcasing some of your makes and mine. We've got a little mini yarn haul, beanie of the week of course, and a little day trip that Steve and I took, and we ended up at a local yarn store. So I'm very excited to share that with you at the very end as well. Now, as always, without any further ado, we're going to jump right into showcasing some of your wonderful makes. Now, glasses on as always. Now, our friend Diane S has joined us each and every week since Beanie of the Week started, and she has not missed a single week. But last week I accidentally missed showcasing hers and I have apologized profusely, and of course Diane said that's okay, you'll just double up next week. So thank you for your kindness, Diane. I really do appreciate it. I just felt so bad when I realized what had happened. So now this very pretty beanie is made with yarn from Diane's stash and a 5.5mm hook, and that was Beanie of the Week from the week before last. It's absolutely gorgeous. And these four beanies are made with stash yarn and a 5.5mm hook, and they will all be donated. I absolutely love the combination of the pink, black and white yarn that you've used, Diane, and they were also from last week's showcase. Now on to last week's Beanie of the Week for our friend Diane S, or from her. So this is Diane's beanie from last week. Diane used burlap worsted weight yarn in topaz. It's such a beautiful color and such a beautiful beanie. So thank you so much, Diane, for sharing all your wonderful makes with us. Now next we have our friend Geraldine from G Crochet Off the Hook. Once again, go and say hello to her. Now, Geraldine said that she loved Beanie of the Week, and Geraldine also used stash yarns, including some Kartopu Snowball and L yarns variegated with a 5.5mm hook. I absolutely love your color combos as well. So thank you, Geraldine, for joining us and sending in your beanie, which I do believe is going to be donated. Now, next we have our friend Valerie R. This Hexicardi is Valerie's first big wearable. Valerie used Yarn Smith's Free Spirit Aran yarn and one of the many YouTube tutorials that are out there for Hexicardis. I absolutely love the colors. Valerie, I'm sure your cardi will keep you nice and warm during the cold winter and possibly throughout some other months through the year as well. So thank you so much, Valerie. I feel so honored that you shared one of your first big wearables with us here at Coco's Crochet. Now next we have our friend Vicky D, and Vicky shares 2 FOs. Look at this 3-toed sloth made with worsted weight grey and cream acrylic yarns. The toes are made with number 2 weight cotton yarn, and he has green sparkling eyes, and Vicky used a 5.5mm crochet hook. Now this kitty is made with worsted weight acrylic yarns in grey and purple. Vicky used a 4mm hook. Now look at these gorgeous purple glitter snowflake eyes. They are so gorgeous, right guys? Now Vicky, both your amigurumis are super adorable, and thank you for sharing them with us. Now next we have our friend Josephine, and she too shares 2 FOs. This beautiful butterfly shawl is a Fibre Spider YouTube tutorial. Josephine used Red Heart Super Saver ombre yarn in true blue and a 6mm Clover Amore hook. This is a gift for a friend of Josephine's who lost her mother. This shawl is a huge hug from Josephine to her friend. Now this throw is hot off the hook. Josephine finished it last night. It is the Grandma Spiked My Ripple pattern. Josephine used Premier Anti-Peeling 100% acrylic DK weight yarn and a 4mm Clover Amore hook. It measures approximately 46 by 60 inches or 117 by 150 centimeters. This throw was a request and will be delivered tomorrow. Both your makes are absolutely gorgeous, and thank you for sharing them with us, Josephine. Now, if any of you wish to share some of your makes with us as well, please don't hesitate to send them to my email and I'll be sure to showcase them in my next podcast. So let's pop those to the side for now. Now, next we have Beanie of the Week. And I absolutely love this week's Beanie of the Week for many reasons, but one of them is for the simplicity, how quick it is and how easy it is to adapt to any yarn, any hook size and any head size. So the beanie that I'm talking about is this gorgeous V-stitch newborn beanie, and it's by our friend Olga Poltava. It is a beautiful YouTube tutorial. It is very, very quick. I think from memory it's only about 8 minutes long. So basically you start at the crown and then you work your V stitches until you get to about 3 or 4 rows, and then you stop increasing and then you just make it as long as you wish to. I do believe from memory that it's about 13 inches in diameter, the one that Olga has made, and then 5 inches in length. Mine is just slightly bigger because I didn't use a 4mm hook, because the yarn that I'll show you was just too hard to use it with a 4mm hook. So I ended up using a 6mm hook. So mine is about 14 inches in diameter or circumference and 6 inches long. But to change your beanie to any size you want with any yarn and any hook, all you need to do is measure the circumference of your head or whoever's head you're making it for, and then take away 2 inches or 5 centimeters depending which measure you're using. Now I use this beautiful yarn here. It's called Shawn Sheep Serene Tweed. It is a beautiful yarn, I have to say. I'm not sure if it's still available. It might actually be in Spotlight, I'm not sure. So it's 53, I think, percent poly. Let me have a look with my glasses on. It's 53% polyester, 47% acrylic. And this colorway here, which is very pretty, it doesn't have a color, it just has a number. But can you see that halo, guys? It just makes it really hard to frog. So if you've ever worked with something like a mohair, possibly, or another yarn like this, it's sort of like it sticks to itself when you try to frog it, because I did have to frog just once because I started off with the 5 chains as Olga does, and in the end I ended up making a magic ring instead, so I had to frog a little bit. But look, it's such a quick and easy project. It is so pretty, and like I said, if you want to just whip out any size and every size for a very quick make, this is the beanie for you to add to your repertoire. So once again, as I always say, I wonder how many of you will be sending in your beanie of the week to us next week. I love the V-stitch. We have made a few different hats with different combinations of V-stitches, but this one is the absolutely most simplest and quickest one we've made to date. So thank you so much, Olga, for putting out such a wonderful tutorial for us. I do think that tutorial is one of her earliest ones. I'm trying to remember if it was 6 years ago, but I will definitely be linking that in the description box for you, for anyone that would like to make it as well. And be sure to send us in your beanie if you wish to. Now next we have these super adorable bears that everybody is talking about, and last week I showed you the patterns that I made, that I purchased from Etsy, which are the beautiful bears from Nook's Hooks. So our friend Anouk is the one that has actually put out these gorgeous patterns for us. So let me just show you the patterns before we get on to the actual bears. I'll show you my bears. So you need to purchase, if you wish to make them, you can purchase the bear pattern as a standalone. I bought it as a set with a bunny, and then I bought the mod for the hoodie. So I've actually made 2 hoodie bears. So you simply purchase the mods, and then you have to use both patterns in conjunction with each other so that you can produce the bear. But then I was watching Nook with her cows with the bendy legs, and I was also watching last night because I couldn't sleep. It was like 1 in the morning or something, and I was watching Karen at Yarn and Whimsy Designs, and we all know she's the queen of pattern roundups. I absolutely love hanging out with her. And the hard thing is that when you do hang out with Karen, you just keep adding things to your crochet to-do list. But in saying that, she's a wonderful you know, yarny friend and resource for so many patterns. And I watched her, what was it, 16 Crochet Market Makes video, which was about 2-3 weeks ago when she put it out. And she showed us the little sitting bear, and again, the from Nooks Hooks. And I just had to get my hands on that pattern. And I looked and looked for it. And then I worked out, after reading the reviews in Etsy, that it's actually a free mod on Instagram. So if you already have the patterns for the bears, you can go onto Instagram and get the free mod for the sitting legs. So I'm going to be making that next 100%, guys. So let me pop these down here for a moment. And let me show you my bears. I have made 2 bears. I'll show you the first one, and I use different yarns so I can get a feel for the size of them with the different yarns. How adorable is this guy? Now, the little hoodie does come off. Comes off the head. How gorgeous is that? Now, with a face, I'm not sure if you can tell, but I did do, and Nook shows us in the pattern, there's actually a link to some videos how to do some face shaping. It's very minimal, but it does make a difference. And I was very excited that I had done this. I've only done this, I think, once or twice before, but it just gets easier when you do it more and more times. But there he is there. Now for this little guy, so how easy is that? You pop the little hoodie back on if it's a very cold day. And I think it's a nice interactive toy for a child, not for a little one, very little, because of course I use safety eyes. Now I did try 2 different eyes, and I'll show you the other bear in a moment. I think I used 10mm or 12 and 16, but I think I like the 14mm. I need to buy some of those, but all those safety eyes that I purchased last time, I just didn't get that size. So with this one here, I used the Aldi, like the mint color, for the body and the head, and then I used this Line Brand Cover Story for the little hoodie, and they worked together beautifully, as you can see. But for the other bear that I've made, I used what I'm calling Sophia's yarn, my goddaughter. So it's not actually available on the market as yet, but it is a beautiful yarn. And I did use a 7mm hook for both of these, and they are slightly different in size. If you can see them like that back to back, you can see that this one is a little bit smaller. Now with this one here, I've purposely left this, see here, you can see that surface crochet there is just a beautiful addition to not only complete the little hoodie, makes it look beautiful, but it actually hides this little jog here, the color jog, when you change color. So that's why I left that there, to show you the difference. I am going to obviously add it to this one, but how wonderful that little addition of that, what is it, like the little bit at the end, I can't think of the word, covers up that little jog as well. So I just think that this is a wonderful pattern. Can you imagine when it actually sits like that? So that's the next one that I'm going to experiment with. I just love this pattern. I'm still finding my feet as to where to actually surface crochet the ears, because I'm just not great at that, but I will get better with practice, because eventually I would like to be able to not only gift these, because, you know, when you're gifting them to family and friends, you don't have to be, well, you do have to do a good job, but, you know, if you're trying to sell something, it has to be near perfect, right? Even though it is handmade. But now I'm going to be making the teddy, so the bunny. So I've started one of the floppy ears here. And this is made with some velvet yarn, which I'll talk to you about in just a moment. So when I make the bunny, I'm going to do the legs with a mod where they actually sit. So watch this space, guys. I cannot wait to bring that to you. And I absolutely love these guys. I just want to play with all the different yarns, as I said, and then eventually have enough practice to be able to create, you know, all the colors of the rainbow with them. So I just love that idea. Now next, of course I dropped my other marker, lucky I have so many. Now next we're going to talk about the con that I'm doing next March, and I I'm very organized. You'll be very proud of me. I'm very proud of me. So this con is called Collect Fest, and it is running over the weekend, March the, where are we? 14th and 15th of 2026. So I have about 4, 8, 12, 16, 18 weeks to prepare quite a few pieces of, quite a few plushies. Now I have made a list here, and I am marking how many I need to make and then ticking them off. So I've actually had the great satisfaction of just ticking that I've made 30 leggy froggies. Now I'm going to show you a couple of them, not all of them. They're all just sitting up there hanging out with us, just so that you can see a few of the varieties that I've made. I did stick as close as possible to like a green theme, but I will show you my favorite two last. So here they are here. They all have an embroidered little face. I think they are super cute. Now I used the YouTube tutorial by Chloe Crafts. And as I mentioned last week, the only thing that I do different is that I actually add 2 extra rows. You don't need to, I just do. I guess that's just the way it is. But I absolutely love these. Now, all of the first 4 that I've shown you, and the majority of the ones up there, are made with various blanket yarns from my stash. But I do have the velvet yarn that I'm going to talk about soon. And I think that he actually is my favorite or my second favorite. I'm not sure. These 2 are my favorite, I must admit, but I didn't have any more of this yarn left. And then when I saw this one, I just had to make them. But how cute are these guys? I love that you can actually cross their hands and their legs and cross them over, so children can actually have a lot of fun with these. And I do think that they are very happy chappies. I've finished embroidering the faces on last night, so I was so happy with that. So let me pop them in my bag down here for just a moment. So what I'm endeavoring to do just very quickly on this con prep, because, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it is very important because, as I mentioned last week, it is going to be the bulk of my crocheting for the next few months, not just weeks. So while I'm working full-time until the school holidays and after, Christmas and New Year, which gives me a good 3-week period where I can just focus on the larger items that I want to make, or the more intricate ones. I'm going to just be making things like leggy froggies, and I've made some snakes, which I'll show you today. So I can actually be ticking those off and getting bulk and satisfaction that, my inventory is growing. But then I will have time to sit down and then just work on some, bigger plushies, or, things that are a bit more involved. This is why I'm taking this opportunity now to play with all of the patterns, so I can get acquainted with them and see which ones would suit me best to mass produce. So that brings me to the next item on the list. Well, it's actually not on the list as next, but what I'm choosing to do next, and that is the snakes, and I would like to make 30 snakes. So I have made 2. Now the pattern that I'm using is by our friend Jenny at In My Spare Time Crochet, and I made these 2 guys here. Now this one here is made using, once again, the Lion brand cover story yarn. He does have eyes. They're a little bit hard to see, but he does have eyes. And from memory, I think I'm using 12mm safety eyes from memory. But this one, I have to tell you, once again, this is that velvet yarn, and he has turned out, honestly, he feels amazing. This one feels amazing and soft, but this one almost feels real. I don't know. Because those of you that may have touched a snake, they're actually very smooth. People think that they're scaly, but they're actually not. Now for this one, I also use that velvet yarn, which I will show you in just a moment. So that's 2 snakes, only 28 to go. And I think that I really do need to be making about, like 30 a week, which is going to be very, very hard. So maybe I might have to adjust the amounts that I make, because I don't want to spend more than a week on each make. So that's what we're going to do. Let's say, for example, I make 20 next week. Wow, that'll be great. That's the amount that I'll put in there for now. And then at the end, just before the con, if I have any more time, I can top up any numbers that I need to, because I need variety, not huge amounts, but I also you know, don't want to spend more than a week on each one. I love these guys. They're absolutely gorgeous. Let's just pop them up there for now. So I like that I'm actually organized for once, because usually my whole life has been I get an idea, I jump in, and then whatever happens, happens. But I'm trying to be an adult about it now. So that's pretty much all the crochet that I've done all week. Not much more. A little bit on the blanket that I was working, that I'm trying to finish, that little baby blanket with the what's that stitch, the wheat stitch. So I'm hoping that I'll finish that very soon, because that little bubba is due very, very soon. Now there's something very important that I'd like to talk to you about, because it is something that our friend Lulu at Crochet with Lulu has introduced for the month of November. If you're not already hanging out with her, go and say hello. And it's the hashtag Thankful YouTubers. I just want to say that I am thankful for all of our YouTuber friends. I do hang out with, this is going to be directed to all of them. I do hang out with each and every one of you. Just lately, I haven't been commenting, but rest assured, I like each and every video. I just feel so time poor just lately, that I just want to have, you know, that connection with everyone. But I just feel that I don't want you to think that I'm not hanging out with you. So I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank Lulu for putting out there, and also to thank each and every one of our YouTube friends, because I know the amount of love that goes into each and every video that we produce, including myself. And we are so grateful that we have such wonderful yarny friends in, you know, that we call subscribers. But, you know, I'm also a subscriber to so many YouTubers, and I just want you all to know that I love and appreciate you, and I do watch each and every video. Like I said, I've just slackened off in the commenting, but the likes are always there. So thank you, Lulu, for, you know, inviting us all to join you in for that. Now, next I'm going to show you that little yarn haul that I was talking about with the velvet yarn. Some of you who may hang out with some other Australian YouTubers may have already seen this yarn. In particular, Kim at Crafty Chaos Emporium, she was showcasing her haul on Sunday. I've actually shared with her the one frog and the snake that I made, because, you know, she was wondering, like myself, what can you make with this yarn. When I first saw this yarn, I only bought one ball, and this was this ball here. Now this one looks like it's a mess because it is a very floppy skein, but I have to tell you that it's actually a cake. I've actually been able to center pull all the ones that I've used, so I'll show you a nice pretty one. I did end up buying 3 of these ones here because I had leggy froggies in mind. So this is the Value Ball velvet yarn that's in Spotlight. It is a 300 gram ball, which I think is amazing. It comes in about 200 odd meters. Let me have a look, guys. 215 meters. It recommends a 6mm hook. Definitely not 8mm if you were crocheting a blanket or something, I guess. But I've been using, see again, look at the center pull, beautiful. I've been using a 7mm hook for all of my plushies that I've been making. So this one here is my favorite. The solid colors are nice and thick. It makes a beautiful, as you can imagine, magic ring, because it just glides off the hook. In actual fact, it's very slippery, so you have to try to control it a bit more, but the projects run away with this. So I did buy 3 in the green. These were down to, I've got my little receipt here, $8.40 a ball. I can't remember what the original price was. I'm guessing around $12, which is still very good value. I don't know if it's still available. I purchased this on the weekend. So if you want to grab some, guys, you need to jump on it. I don't know if everybody likes working with velvet yarn, but I certainly do. It is very nice and shiny as well. And it is for specific projects only. Obviously, you can't use it for everything, but so far, I'm really enjoying it. This yarn is really good too, because I'll show you here. It doesn't shed very much, only a little bit. Of course, you know, but look at that. It's actually really good and so easy to sew with, which is always very important. Very easy to frog, as you can imagine, it glides. So I got 3 of the green, And then this is the color that I use for the snake. And I did make one leggy froggy in this, which I wasn't very sure about. So that's something to consider. Now this one is called, I think it's something garden, herb garden. Now I've got fluffs up my nose. How pretty are all those colors? And that's the one that I use for this snake here. I got 2 of those because I've already started one here. Now the best way to use this yarn, because Kim was concerned it would fall apart, there's my center pull, and it does. You just sit it in like a bowl. It's just so simple. And then what I do, you can use a scrunchie, or, you know, I've got a rubber band on this one for now, just to tighten it up, because it does get very loose by the end. But that's okay. That's what, you know, balls of yarn do, or cakes. And then I bought this beautiful blue that you saw, the bunny ear. This is so pretty, I think. And this one is called Dazzling. So pretty, right? And then this one here I bought, so I got 2 of those blue. In total, I got 11 cakes, if I hadn't already said that. This one here is called Raspberry. And there is one that you might think is the same if I show it to you later, so I'll show them side by side. This one is actually gorgeous. It's called Rio Red. So Raspberry and Rio Red. Similar and yet different. One is darker, so 1 of each. And this one here I absolutely love because, you know, it's got the purples in it. I could have got more variegated, but I didn't. This is called Azalea Mix. It's so pretty. Now, I have found, as always, I'll get these 2 here. The variegated yarn is thinner, slightly thinner. And let me see if I can bring them up so you can see them. I'll get the center pulls, than the solid colors. Can you see that one? That one's rounder and that one's flatter. But I still use the same hook with them, so there's no issue there. And then lucky last, I've got this rainbow one here. And it's actually called Party Time. That's very cool. And I have made the little hoodie for the little rabbit that I'm going to be making. A Nooks Hooks rabbit. So that was it, guys. 11 balls from Spotlight. And I'm so happy I got them. Like I said, I bought 1 to start off with, and then I went back pretty much in an hour or so, because I came home, made a leggy froggy with it, fell in love, and went back and bought another 10. So I won't be running out very, very quickly. But with this here, I must have at least, I would say, 100 grams left, so 1/3 of the cake. And I ended up making about 6 leggy froggies, so I could probably get another 3 at least. So you can get about 9 to 10 of them. That's pretty good, I reckon. So I'm not complaining about that at all. Now, while we're talking about yarn, I want to show you something, because this is an upcoming yarn haul unboxing that I'm going to do with you. I am so excited, guys, and I'm just wondering, oh my God, this is 11 kilos of yarn. If any of you can guess what yarn is in here. Okay, if you can guess, let us all know in the comments down below. But watch this space, because that unboxing will be coming to you very, very shortly. I'm so excited about it. So that's it for the yarn and crochet content for this week. We're just going to have a little live chat now. Steve and I took a day trip, and we went to the Blue Mountains. That is about an 1.5-hour drive from our home, and we had not been for years, and we've been saying that we wanted to do it. In particular, we wanted to go to Katoomba. Oh my gosh, the mountains there are amazing, but my favorite thing to always see is the 3 sisters, because I have 2 sisters, so we grew up always saying we were the 3 sisters. I think that they are magnificent. Is the word majestic? And I don't know what it is, but the minute that I went and actually sighted them, I got this really amazing feeling. So that was just wonderful. We met some lovely people there that were, you know, tourists as well, because it is a very touristy spot. And then, you know, we walked around, had a nice cup of coffee. There was a lookout, a beautiful, beautiful cafe, milk bar, you know, souvenir shop. Then we walked all the way down. I'm not very good with heights, so Steve actually went closer and he took some video and some photos for us, and it was just so beautiful. And then we said we'd go into the next little suburb, Lura, which is it's like very boutique-y. The houses are amazing in that whole area. As you can imagine, the properties are quite large, the houses are even larger, so many old beautiful homes, a lot of sandstone, and a few modern homes in the mix as well. But we walked up and down the strip, with all the shops. A lot of antique shops were there. There was a nice an ice cream shop, but we ended up going to I think it was the Lura Cafe or something like that it was called. I'm sorry, I can't remember, to have lunch. And we had beautiful burgers and chips, delicious, let me tell you. Second best burgers we decided that we've ever had. But before that, we ended up at a yarn store. So it was the only local yarn store for the whole entire area. All the other ones have closed down, and it's actually called the House of Wool. Now, in there was a beautiful young lady, young mum. She's probably in her mid-30s. Monica. Sorry, Monica, if I got that wrong, but that's how old you look to me, which doesn't matter about that. But I had a really nice chat to her, and she actually has her own website because she spins and dyes her own yarn, and it's called Spinning Top Fibre. Now, for everyone that is not Australian or from the UK, you spell fibre different to us. So we spell fibre with F-I-B-R-E, not E-R. So keep that in mind. So, if you want to go and visit her website, she's such an amazing young lady. I did have a little chat to her about her story. So basically 5 years ago, young mum with two very young children. She was living in Melbourne with her mum at the time, and her mum crafts. And she said, why don't you try yarn dyeing? Because Monica does predominantly knit, but she also crochets. She's by Stitchel, which I absolutely love. And what started off as a hobby has actually become a business for her. Now, we did talk about how in the store they do have some beautiful yarns that are mass produced, but they also have hand dyed yarns, but it's easier and cheaper for her, she told me, to sell her yarns online, to keep the cost down. Otherwise it gets too much and people can't afford them. People come from all around, all those suburbs to purchase there, and they also hold classes there, which I thought was very interesting and wonderful. It's not a very big shop, but it was a beautiful shop. So all of us that love yarn, you could have spent all day in there. The stairway had signs, crochet, knit, yarn. It was just beautiful, and inside it was just gorgeous. And there was another lady there, Margaret, as well, and she was choosing the yarn that she was going to make a little baby ensemble. So she showed me the little cardie that she was going to make. So that was a beautiful chat. I really enjoyed that part of our day trip, as you can imagine. So I just thought that I would share that with you. And that's pretty much it. We had a lovely, time, Steve and I. And then we drove back home. We were out for about 6 hours, I would say. 3 hours was the driving there and back, and 3 hours just spent, walking around. Just everything is so different, as you can imagine. It's not quite a country town because it's very busy. And the other thing that we saw in a person that we met, not saw, was there was a cruise ship, and they had days like bus trips into Katoomba, the Blue Mountains area, obviously for sightseeing, the tourists. And a lovely lady took a photo for us of Steve and I, and she was from Florida. And I said, I have a few friends in the US as well, and it was just such a cool conversation. I absolutely loved that. So there's, human connection everywhere. We're all one, really, aren't we? I just love that. So that's it. That's our week in a nutshell, guys. I hope you've all been keeping well as always. And until I see you all very, very soon, take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.